We live, we live. What's going on, people? We got 1 minute left. We're gonna get it popping. Okay. How you doing? We about to get live. We about to get it going. Let me get Fred on the line here. We're gonna start in 2 minutes. Let's see. Where you at, Fred? You love Taekwondo? Taekwondo's dope. A lot of people I train Taekwondo. Oh, there he is. What's good, brother?
What's going on, brother?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How's it going?
Good, man. It's going good. It's going good. Thank you for joining, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, you know, you've been around for a minute. You know what I mean? Around the Atlanta scene, doing jujitsu. Just kind of introduce yourself, man. Let the people know who you are. For those who don't.
Yeah, my name is Fred Capell. I'm a black belt under Bruno Frazado. Also, I'm a head coach and owner of Union City Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in Union City, Georgia. Yep.
Nice, nice, nice. And right now, you currently competing. You compete a lot, brother. You
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
compete a lot. So you in Cali right now?
Yeah, I'm in Cali for a World, so I competed Wednesday at the Masters International.
Okay,
Um, but right now, is Worlds going on, so I'm here to support my teammates, and watch all the upcoming talent out Worlds this year.
that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So let's get right into it, man. How'd you get started in jiu-jitsu? I mean, you've been training
Man,
for well over 10 years,
man.
right?
Yeah, for 12 years now, I've been doing jiu-jitsu. So it's crazy because I was always in the fitness space and
Mm-hmm.
personal training space and sports performance coaching.
Mm.
And, I just needed to do something for myself, right? So I was taking care of other people and I wanted something that I can kind of like do something for myself, being a former collegiate athlete, playing football. And,
Okay.
then I went to the S3 Sports and I actually did boxing first.
Oh
I
yeah.
actually did boxing. Yeah, I did boxing first, and I used to see like the guys in the kimonos and the gis, and I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm a grown man. I'm not gonna wear no gi. You know.
That's funny.
Yeah, yeah. So I didn't even really know what jujitsu was. I never even heard of jujitsu. I didn't know anything about it. So
Yeah,
they kept telling me you need to try a class, do a class. It comes with your
yeah.
membership. So I tried a class, man. And I was just getting folded up, and I thought I was
Of
pretty
course.
athletic, you know, and pretty tough guy. But I didn't know what armbar chokes were, so I was just getting messed up. And so for
Yeah,
me being the competitor I am, I was like, man, I
yeah.
need to learn this.
So prior to that, you didn't have any combat sports, any martial arts experience?
Well, I wrestled 1 year in college.
You wrestled,
I
okay.
mean, high school. One
In
year,
high school.
1 year high school, and that was only because I grew up playing soccer, and my
Yeah.
soccer coach was a wrestling coach, and he made
So
me.
he kind of
Yeah, yeah,
talked
he
you
made
into
us
it.
do it. Yeah, he made us do it, man. And let me tell you what, I hated it. It was some of the
Yeah.
toughest training that was out there, man. And
Yeah,
so I
wrestling's
hated it.
tough.
Yeah.
Wrestling's tough, man. Okay, so 12 years, you got into it just you wanted to do boxing, but you got into jiu-jitsu just by mistake
Yeah, man.
in
I
a way.
mean, you know what? I don't think it was a mistake, man. I think it was I think everything that went through in my life was destined for this opportunity.
Okay.
So when I don't think it was a mistake. I think jiu-jitsu called me into it.
Okay. Yeah, because a
Yeah.
lot of people they're too scared. A lot of people they it's intimidating, right? You see a
Hmm.
bunch of grown men just grappling, throwing each other around, trying to choke each other and break things, and it's like, I think I'm good.
Right.
So for most people, the hardest part is stepping on the mats. So what was it
Right.
like for you though? Like the first time you I mean you say you got folded up, but we all do, right? But what was that
Hmm.
first experience like? Just stepping on the mats and actually rolling for the first time.
Man, to be honest, it felt like my comfort zone. It felt like my
Okay.
comfort zone. Like, you know, like the people that I met on the mats,
Hmm.
the structure of the classes, the learning. I was learning something new, and it felt very comfortable for me for some reason. I didn't really see it as like a place where I wanted to stay away from it. It's like this is an opportunity for me to get better at something and improve. You
Well,
know.
that's refreshing because a lot of people they don't necessarily have that experience. So that's
Hmm.
dope that you had that. My first experience with jujitsu was not great.
Hmm.
Definitely wasn't as good as yours, but no, that's
Hmm.
that's that's good, man. I'm happy that
Hmm.
you got a positive first experience. So you started with and got your black belt from Bruno, right?
No, I actually started with Rodrigo. Shout out to
Okay.
Rodrigo. Yeah, I
Shout
started
out to
with
Rodrigo.
Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went from him to white and white to blue belt, and with Rodrigo, that's another thing. I felt he taught me a lot about the lifestyle.
Hmm.
Like the Brazilian culture.
Yeah.
Just enjoying the journey and
Hmm.
and the jiu-jitsu journey. And one of the best things that I learned from him was, you training up to be a black belt world champion. The goal and white belt, the color belt was just kind of like preparation,
Yeah.
till you get your black belt. So that's one thing I
I like
really
that.
held on, and I think that helped me progress in my journey to keep that in mind. It's like the goal is to take the time, progress, make all your mistakes at the color belts. Then when you
Hmm.
get the black belt, you know, that's the time, to really hold on and trying to be a black belt world champion. That's the ultimate goal.
That's what's up, man. So what was your favorite belt? Which color? Not the color,
Man,
just the experience like that training of being that belt.
so far it's been black belt.
Really? And
So far,
congratulations on that, by the way. You
thank you. Thank you.
got your black belt what, about 3 months now?
Yeah, in December.
Yeah, congrats. Oh,
Yeah,
wait, okay, more than that. Okay,
yeah,
congratulations, man. That's dope, man. That's really dope.
yeah.
So you
I
said your favorite's the black belt?
so far it's been black belt. So
Really?
far it's been black belt. Yeah, because I feel like you start all over again. Like it's true, being a black
Yeah.
belt it's like being a white belt all over again, especially in competition.
Mm.
I'm going against black belts that's been black belts for over 20 years.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
and it's helped me feel like raise my game and my confidence a lot more.
Mm.
Going against those guys, and they're saying like, "Look, you belong here. You belong with us. You're good."
Mm-hmm.
That's been a huge confidence booster for me, and let me know that I did the work early on to reach to the level that I always aspired to be on.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Mhm.
So how often do you compete?
Man, last year I was injured most of the year,
Oh,
but
okay.
before then, like I compete at least once a month.
At least once. Oh, okay.
At least
Yeah,
once a month.
that's good, man. Because that's one of the hardest things. Not everybody can get out to compete that much, and not
Right.
everybody really competes as often.
Right.
Yeah, as you know, a lot of people don't realize that 90% of the people who train jiu-jitsu don't actually compete.
Right. Right.
A lot of
Right.
people do it just for a hobby or just for whatever, just
Right.
social situation,
Right.
whatever the case may be. But for
Right.
those that do compete, what's it like? How do you prepare for a competition, man? Because I mean, you're a veteran at this point, but
Mhm.
what are some tips you would give somebody who's just thinking about doing their first competition?
Man, just go out there. You just go
Yeah.
out there. I think you can't wait for the right opportunity. That's what I tell my students. I just say just jump out there.
Mm.
You figure out whatever you need to do to get better. But if
Okay.
you don't never take action, you delay the process. You're never gonna get to where you ultimately want to be.
Do you remember what your first competition was like?
Yeah, it was a naga, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd it
It was
go?
a, man, I actually won. I won the tournament, and
Dope.
it's just like just scrapping, white belt strapping, try to take it,
Yeah, try to
try to
figure it
take.
out.
Yeah, man. It was fun times, man.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So I'm glad you brought your academy up. Union City BJJ, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. What's the address, man? I want people to come through and check you out because I know you're
Yeah.
definitely doing your thing over there.
Yeah, the address is 6740 Shannon Parkway, Union City, Georgia, unit number 6. So you're welcome to come by, step by, stop by, and train with us.
Man, I love what you're doing with your academy, man. First, you're one of the first, you know, brothers that I knew that had their own academy, and
Hmm.
I ain't gonna lie, that inspired me. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, that's dope, man. The fact that I see someone that look like me that can do it, he could do it. You know, maybe one day I could do it too. So how
Right.
long you've had your academy?
Since 2020, open during the pandemic, actually.
During the damn,
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It
Yeah.
was destined because you still here.
Yeah, man.
You
Yeah.
still here during the
Yeah.
pandemic. Okay.
Yeah.
And you have kids program, adult program. Is it just jujitsu or do anything,
Right
any
now
other
it's just
striking?
jiu-jitsu. I just
Okay.
teach jiu-jitsu right now, but
Okay.
hopefully I can grow it into more, in the
Yeah.
future. But right now it's
Yeah.
just gi and no gi jiu-jitsu. So Mondays and Wednesdays, we
Mm-hmm.
have gi cap classes. The kids classes are from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. and
Mm-hmm.
adult classes are from 6:30 to 8 p.m. And the no gi classes are just adults right now, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6:30 to 8:30 to 8 p.m.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, man, I've been following you for a minute and I love what you're doing with the academy, man. What made you want to open up a gym? I mean, you were a brown belt when you opened it or
No, man, I was a blue belt.
get
I was a
what?
blue belt. Opened up as a blue
That's
belt.
bold.
Yeah, man. Opened up as a blue belt.
That's
Yeah,
crazy. Tell me
yeah.
tell me about that because I've had conversations with a few people and they feel like that's frowned upon. So tell me
Hmm.
what possessed you as a bold and confident blue belt to decide not only am I going to continue jiu-jitsu, but I'm going to open my own academy and y'all going to learn from me.
Right, right. I mean, to be honest, like I said before, I knew it was gonna work. It's my passion. Everything I've been through in my life,
Hmm.
prepared me for the opportunity, and it's something that I prayed for, and I'd ask God, like,
Yes,
what I
sir.
need to be doing with my talent,
Yes,
and
sir.
and, and that came up. So, I've trained professional athletes in multiple sports, played college sports, have my certified strength in NSCA strength and conditioning certification. My major and degrees in kinesiology, study of human movement.
Oh,
So,
okay.
even though I was a blue belt, I've already been training for 6 years. And
Yeah.
so, it was like, I wanted to, I wanted to see how I can best use my gifts to serve other people, especially in my community, you
That's
know,
dope.
and,
That's
and,
dope.
and I found that, like personal training and sports performance, yeah, I was impacting lives, but not like I knew I could through jiu-jitsu. So that's why I knew it was going to work. I was like, man, this is the perfect opportunity for me to step out there, and I knew it was my obligation to come in my community because
Hmm.
nobody else was going to come there. So I felt like it was
Exactly.
my duty to come there and teach them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The young, that look like us, they need that, man. And
Right,
for me, jujitsu's always been a therapeutic thing, and that's part of my mission and purpose. I feel is just to I want as many people to do jujitsu as possible,
right,
especially us. Black
right.
people do jujitsu. I don't care what anybody says, right? I'm gonna go on a
Oh
quick
yeah.
little rant for a second because I ever since I started doing this social media thing heavy, one of the biggest things or most rewarding parts of it, besides seeing the growth and people really appreciating what I'm doing, is the people that hit me up in the DMs, grown men I've never met before, and say, "Yo, appreciate what you're doing. Just keep doing it. It's inspirational." And I'm like, bro, all I'm doing is jujitsu. I didn't get it for a minute, but after a while, I started to get it. I'm like, okay, because they don't see a lot of people that look like them. They don't
Hmm.
see that on the social media heavy like that, or they don't. Maybe they wanted to try that and just that their people that around them just kind of maybe talked them out of it, or they just couldn't get build up the confidence to go ahead and do it. But
Hmm.
jujitsu for me has done so much. Like I said, from a therapeutic perspective, it allows me to really release a lot of the stress, a lot of the
Hmm.
frustrations, and just life. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I tell people all the time, man, you, I mean, you legally get to. I mean, beat up someone, right? In a way. And I think everybody needs a physical outlet, some way to release some type of frustration and
Right.
anger through physical activity. There's nothing more fulfilling than that. It's good for your health, it's good for your mental health. So that's why for me, I continue to do what I do, and I'm trying to shed as much light on people such as yourself, you know what I mean, doing amazing things in the community with the jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
jiu-jitsu can save lives, has and it has saved lives in many, many ways. I was talking to Doug last week, telling me, man, some of the things that some of his students talk about, and that's what's so dope about jiu-jitsu. Brings people from all walks of life that would never have a conversation on the street. Man, I've trained with a cop and a drug dealer on the same mat at the same time, and
Right.
they knew who they
Right.
was, and
Right.
it didn't matter. It was just
Right.
we're here to roll, we're here to learn something, and just release that stress. So for you, I
Right.
want to ask you, since you've opened your academy and you've been able to help so many people, what's the biggest reward that you've seen from teaching jiu-jitsu?
Man, the biggest reward for me is the biggest reward for me has been like when I have a student, they're timid, maybe they're being bullied in
Yeah.
school. Um, they cry, scared to get on the mat. Um, the parents try to shelter them and cuddle
Mm.
them.
Mm.
And I just let them, just be like, okay, just let them go. When they're ready to get on the mat, just get on the mat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're going to tournaments and winning tournaments, and the parents are letting me know how much I have helped them build their confidence, how confident they are. They're willing to speak up for themselves. They're becoming better leaders,
Mm.
and better people because of jiu-jitsu. So and also is bringing the families closer together.
Yeah.
Like the parents are actually
Yeah.
doing jiu-jitsu with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the biggest reward for me is building a community as well.
Yeah.
Building a really strong community, especially with our people. Building a strong community where their kids going on play dates with each other. They're doing businesses and stuff together.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing that I wanted to accomplish.
Man, I know that's a great feeling, man, because I've experienced that myself. Man, one of my students, she brought me a shell and like a little plastic gem. I still have that in my car till this day.
What
Like
she bought you?
she brought me like a little seashell
Okay.
and a little green plastic gem. I guess
Okay.
maybe
Oh
from one of her
wow.
toys. And she every time she would see me, she'd be so excited, and you could just see, and for, like you said, with the confidence, right? And it's for all ages. It's not just
Hmm.
young. I've seen. I have a student. She didn't even want to do the jiu-jitsu. I kind of
Hmm.
talked her into it, and then when she started doing it, she went from shy and timid, not in life, but just on the mats because it was just something new and something different. But man, 4 or 5 classes in, that confidence just jumped so fast, and it was something totally different. And now she's like addicted to it. She loves it. The way it allows you to release, like I said, but she started competing. It's just a beautiful thing. I just loved watching her grow as a
Right.
imagine like a grown woman, just finding peace and finding comfort and confidence in rolling around with a bunch of grown men. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And it
Right.
sounds weird, right, to a lot
Right.
of people who don't train, because when you do train, what we talk about all the time, jujitsu. That's all we talk about, or
Right.
combat sports, right? So when we're
Right.
talking about that to when we talk about that to someone who doesn't train, we seem like we're crazy. But to us, they're the ones that's crazy because they're not doing it. You know what I
Well,
mean?
jiu-jitsu to me makes everything in your life better.
Much
You
better.
know, um, and that's why I say, like, for me, I enjoy competing because that's what I like to do. Those
Hmm.
are my goals. But those are just my goals. But I feel like all us are professional. Whether you're professional at your job or career, is going to make it that much better.
Yeah.
And it's not going to let you stay complacent. Like most people are
Nah.
comfortable being complacent and saying, like, I'm good and comfortable at
Hmm.
this level of my job. Jiu-jitsu will force you to step outside of your comfort zone because if you stay in your comfort zone, what's going to eventually happen is you're going to get submitted.
Yeah.
So you always have to grow to the next level in your job, your career, and competition.
Hmm.
You always got to step up and go to the next level.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So now we've talked about the great benefits, right, of teaching jujitsu and training overall. since you've opened your academy, what has been the biggest struggle?
Yeah, just not taking stuff personal, man.
Mm,
Um, you come in with the right reasons, and you want to help and develop people,
hmm
and some people are not gonna be able to receive that. You know what I mean? Like to receive the help and the guidance that you try to give them. And in my case, it's not too much of the kids. It's the parents.
mm,
The parents keep their kids from wanting to grow. And even though you tell them, like, this is what's going to help them get to the next level, because jiu-jitsu is a combat sport,
yeah.
people are very protective of their kids. Sometimes they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel for them to go through the
hmm
struggle. So that's
Yeah,
been the biggest challenge.
that's a good one, man, because the parents tend to be. Well, first, let's do this though. Let's give them, let's give them props for at least getting their kids in jujitsu. That's
Exactly.
huge. Most
Exactly.
parents don't even do something like that.
Exactly.
I don't even know if like, because I almost feel like I'm kind of like in a little bubble. I don't even know what it's like for to talk to a lot of people that don't train, because most of my friends train. So I don't even know if like martial arts is still like a big thing that they must put their kids in or something like that. But when you get your kid in jujitsu, that's literally probably one of the best gifts you could give your child, because that's going to
Mhm.
give them so many skills. Like you said, the confidence is going to boost, right? But
Mhm.
what you're doing in jiu-jitsu, you're literally problem solving under pressure. That's what you're doing. Physical pressure, not just mental, but physical and mental pressure. Because when you're in stuck in side control with that, 300-pound purple belt,
Right. Right. Right.
and you got about 8 seconds to figure it out, or they're gonna choke you out. You learn to, one, manage pressure very well. Two,
Hmm.
problem solve quickly. Your
Hmm.
confidence is going to build, and it also gives you the opportunity to see that you could fail and learn and grow, right? So,
Exactly.
because that's literally the recipe for success, right? You got to fail, you
Right.
got to learn, and then that's where the growth comes. So that's
Right.
that's a beautiful thing when you give that to your child.
Right.
Now, after all that said, get out of the way. Like you said, right? Once you put your kid in jujitsu, trust the coach, trust the instructor that they're going to do their job, and they're going to give your kids the right tools to hand themselves on and off the mats. A lot
Right.
of parents, and sometimes it could be the mom or it could be the dad. They could be overprotective. What I've
Mhm.
seen sometimes is the mom is be really protective, right? Because they want to make sure their baby's
Right.
good. The
Right.
dad is overly,
Right.
do this. You
Exactly.
got to do is focus, right? And
Exactly.
I'm like, okay, cool,
Exactly.
chill. They're 4 years old.
Exactly.
let them
Yeah.
let them grow into it. It has to be for, especially at that age. It has to be something fun. It has to be something they
Exactly.
love doing. If it's like a
Exactly.
chore and you're forcing them to do it and you're making them have to be
Exactly.
perfect at it, you're doing them a disservice. So that's for
Exactly.
all you parents out there. If you thank you for putting your kids in jujitsu. That's great, but make sure you allow your coach to do their job, and just be a
Exactly.
parent on the side, record, and then help them out with a little bit of the technique from what you recorded, and that's it. That's really all you gotta do. Other
Yeah.
than that, man, yeah, that's a good one, man. The
Right.
struggle of the parents. No,
Right.
but it's good, man. So you in Cali right now? When are you done with competition
Yeah, I'm
or
done. I competed in the Masters International North America. So now it's just the Worlds, which is just the adults going on right
okay,
now.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
got you, man. I know you love competing, but I wanted to ask you about overall in your journey, because for me, I have a few things I would change if I could. 12 years in, right? If you could change
Mhm.
anything from when you were a white belt all the way up to a black belt, like just maybe how you trained, or maybe some of the things that you wish you did it earlier. Like if you could change anything and that you feel will not only improve your BJJ game, but just improve your overall love for the sport, what would that be?
That's a good question. Man. I said, man, I wouldn't change anything, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change nothing. I think through this journey of jiu-jitsu. the good, the bad, the indifferent, the ugly, the failures, ups and downs, is all part of your growing in the process, right?
Right.
You know, I would say like, yeah, I would have liked to compete it more often earlier, but who knows? That may have been like creating more injuries or burnout for me.
Yeah.
So I think it was right on time for me. To get to the place where I can work and live the life that I'm living now through jujitsu.
Mm.
And now I
Beautiful thing.
appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot more.
Yes,
So.
sir.
Yeah, I don't think you can change anything in this sport. It's unforgiving, it's tough.
Hmm.
It's a grind. It's gonna go a lot to come through you. You're gonna meet good people, get bad people, people that
Yeah.
support you, people that don't support you.
Yeah.
But you just stick through it. You just stick through it and keep going.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. That's good. So for you, I know you compete a lot and you
Hmm.
teach and you run a business. Because for those of you who don't know, being a BJJ coach is not all glitz and glamour. I know we
Right, right,
we love it. We having fun with it, and it's a good time. And we're
right,
posting and doing all this
right.
content and all that. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and you're not just a coach. You're not just instructing. Oh, do this technique, and then it's you start to build a bond with some of these people, right? And it becomes like
Hmm.
almost like your second family, and
Hmm.
you find yourself overcommitting yourself to that, and maybe not in other places. So for you, how do you balance that? Where do you find the time to teach, train, to be able to compete as often as you do, and just live life on just how do you balance all of that together? That's it's a lot, man. It's a
What is
lot.
balance? What is balance? I think,
Balance is
like you said, man, we make it look easy. We make it look
uh-huh.
easy and glamorous, but there's really no balance, man. This is like for instance, Monday through Friday, Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, I go from 12 to 2 p.m. To train at my professor's academy. Shout out Bruno Frazado. Um, at his academy. Then after that, I'm lifting weights, I get something to eat. Then after that, I drive to my side of town, teach privates. After that, I got kids class. After that, adults class. You know, maybe get something to eat again, get some rest, and start the same thing over again. Studying film, studying tape. You
Mm.
know, watching people such as yourself on how I can grow.
Mm-hmm.
Just growth and development and as far as everything. So it's a
Yeah.
grind, man. It's really no balance right now. And I think, be honest with you, competition is kind of like where I get the balance. I can compete,
Mm.
then I can kind of sit here and make a vacation out of it and enjoy
Ah,
the experience, the process. So that's kind of like where I find my balance as well.
that's the cheat code. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. No,
yeah.
man. Shout out to Bruno, man. Amazing professor. I know a lot of great grapplers have come out of that academy.
Hmm.
So, but you, you know, it's funny. I asked you that question, but you just made it sound like really super dope, actually. Like you wake up, you train, you eat, train some
Right,
more, lift some weights, then you
right,
go teach, and
right.
yeah, you made it sound pretty cool, man. That didn't sound like you struggling for balance at all.
Right, man. I mean, number one, I feel like I have a big responsibility to show my
Mm,
students and my team what it's like to be great at something, and in
yeah.
jiu-jitsu, I made no bones about it. I'm trying to be the best professor, the
Mm-hmm.
best athlete that I can be,
Mm-hmm.
and best leader that I can be and business person that I can be. So, I think it's my job to be that person that my students and the parents look up to, be like, man, if you really want to be great at something, you have to go all in, and this is what it's
Yeah.
going to take.
That's what's up, man. So let's talk about burnout, man. Like,
Hmm.
is that a thing for you? Because you just made it seem like, man, I ain't gonna lie,
Hmm.
man. I want to live your life. Just
Hmm.
for me,
Hmm.
that's like an ideal day.
Hmm.
My day ain't quite as
Right,
serene and peaceful as yours. At least it sound. At least that's how you made it sound.
right.
So, do you ever experience burnout? Because your whole life seems to be
Hmm.
revolving around jujitsu. And if you're not doing jujitsu, does it feel like weird to just not be doing jujitsu sometimes?
Yeah, yeah. If I'm not training, then my mind is always running, So if I'm not
Wow.
training, it's like, man, I need to be training. I need to be doing something. I need to be watching
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu. I'm behind the curve. But you gotta understand too, like I started playing sports competitively at 5 years old, playing soccer, travel
Okay.
team, going to camps, um, playing football in college for 4 years, grinding. So I think if it wasn't for that, I think I probably would be burnt out. But this is something that I started at 5 years old.
Hmm.
That is still these work, and I think that's one of the best things that my parents did for me was put me in sports at an early age.
Yeah.
So it taught me that discipline and gave me the work ethic. That I needed to reach and accomplish my goals.
That's what's up. That's what's
Mhm.
up. So you do live in the Atlanta, Metro Atlanta area,
Yeah.
and you've been in this area. Are you from Atlanta?
No, I'm actually from Columbia, South Carolina.
Oh, he's from South Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, so being here in Atlanta for at least the past 12 years that you've been training, how much have you seen the state of jiu-jitsu change? Just as far
Man,
as just everything, how much change have you seen over the last 12 years?
man, it's crazy now, man. Before we only had like a couple schools. Now,
Yeah.
we have like schools, probably like multiple schools in the same area.
Yeah.
Um,
Down
we
the street.
also yeah, yeah, we also getting more tournaments as well.
Yeah.
Like you could probably do a tournament every month in Atlanta. Like before it
Easy.
was just like yeah, before it was just Naga and maybe a new breed every
Yeah.
3 or 4 months that'll come there. Now you can compete like every month in Atlanta.
Hmm.
Um and we're producing top athletes. Like you go some of these guys in Atlanta, they're competing in the ADCC, UFC,
Hmm.
BJJ. A lot more talent is coming in the area. So man, and it's just grown, man. It's just grown. Like it's crazy because people come to the gym and they be like, I want to train jujitsu, and they never played any other sport before, but jiu-jitsu is like something they've been watching and wanting to do,
Yeah.
and and so now it's just like a real option, for
Yeah.
other people, and other than like football, basketball, baseball, soccer, they want to do jiu-jitsu, and I found that surprising.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when jiu-jitsu wasn't even like it was a thing, obviously. UFC has always been around for quite some time, but the way it is now, it's like everywhere and everybody does it is just kind of weird. Cause like
Hmm.
before you could kind of, certain type of person or a certain demographic would do jujitsu. Now everybody and their grandmother is literally
Right.
doing jujitsu, which is a
Exactly.
beautiful thing. I think that's the
Right.
dopest part. I think
Right.
that from all the change and the growth, I think that's the best part of it. Because before, back in the day, jujitsu was more so competitive. I'm gonna say a lot more competitive now before the chat kills me and everybody on the internet. What I mean by more competitive, like more the people that train jujitsu were a high percentage of them were actually competitors. The biggest change I've noticed is now the largest percent of that group of people are hobbyists. So that's the biggest growth that I've seen. So many you got I mean, you got UFC BJJ now. That when the UFC has to make a whole different entity just for BJJ, that goes to show you the growth of jiu-jitsu. So it's been a lot, but for Atlanta specifically, I think for me, I've started to I guess with obviously with the time over the time, right? I started to see a lot more black belts that were black, right?
Hmm.
A lot more of
Hmm.
those, or a lot more higher belts. And before, I didn't see a lot of that. It was mostly either gonna be Brazilian or somebody that's not black, right? Very often I'll go to a gym and I might be the only or one of two, right? But now you're starting to see a lot more people in our community do jujitsu. How do you com how do you add to that, right? How do you support that, and what types of things are you doing in the community to try to spread the word and try to get as many people doing in jiu-jitsu as possibly can?
Right. Man, just like the I think the biggest way is like the social media thing,
Yeah.
the social posting what it looks like in our academy, seeing other black kids doing jiu-jitsu, competing, reaching success, and their parents also sharing their kids' stories as well. So and people like you, man, like meeting people like you that's giving us this great platform to spread jiu-jitsu, and especially in our communities, because we need it. Not saying that other communities don't need it, but our communities definitely need it, and they see people like us, and
Hmm.
they really don't know what jiu-jitsu
They
is. They
don't.
just they don't really know what it is, but they see us doing it, and it gives them some type of interest, and maybe they'll step in our doors and give it a try, and it may change their lives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's dope. And it's crazy. You made me think of something when you said that because I realized when I started teaching, I started posting for real. So many people that I knew, they're like, "You do jujitsu?" I'm like, "Wait, what?" I've told y'all, dude. Like I've been telling them I do jujitsu
Right,
forever, and I,
right.
I guess to them it was just like a random conversation. They didn't really know what it was, so they didn't really stick. But now because it's everywhere, you see it everywhere, you know it. When I started posting more, and I can't tell you how many people were like, "Yo, I didn't know you do the jiu-jitsu. Like, what? You a black? What? Yeah."
Yeah,
So that was interesting to me.
right,
So I think yeah, being able to show people like, yo, you know somebody who does jujitsu, you just probably don't know it. But
right,
yeah, try it,
right,
man. What's the worst thing that can happen? Right? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I think I think the reason other communities don't necessarily have to worry about that because they have that representation, right?
Hmm.
And I think that's dope. But for us, I feel like for me, when I started doing it, I want the first thing I thought about, I'm like, man, when I started finding out about brothers like you, Doug, I've known Doug for a minute, you know what I mean? A few others in this state, I'm like, man, we need to support each other.
Hmm.
Why aren't we supporting each other? And that's the difference. Like other communities, they will support each other. They don't care about who you are. They don't know you. They're just gonna, post your shit and support
Right,
you. But for
right.
us, I didn't see a lot of us doing that. And it wasn't even, oh no, nobody's hating on each other or malicious. It was
Hmm.
just nobody was really on it like that. You know what I mean?
Right,
But so my goal is to shed as much light on us as possible, man. If I
right.
have the platform, I did not expect to have a platform like this. I got it. I gotta put it to good use, man. So
Yeah, of
that's my
course.
goal with this, man. So I just want to make sure brothers like you shine and people get to see that, man, and understand we're doing great things out here, man.
Hmm.
Yes,
For
sir. Yes,
sure.
sir. So when do you touch back? Touch in Atlanta when we get back?
I'll be back on Sunday night.
Sunday? Okay. So
Yep,
the
Sunday
rest of the
night.
teams over there and they're competing?
Yeah. So, you know, from Tulare, is Bruno's gym name now. We have some people competing tomorrow. We have a two couple of black belts competing tomorrow. So,
Okay.
and like lower belts competed over this past week. So,
Okay.
I'm out here to support and watch them. And also just
Okay.
watch, just like the best competitors, from Brazil, Korean teams, Japan
Yeah.
team. Like it's just like, man, like every country is represented here cheering for their team, man. It's just crazy. You hear multiple languages and people just like round their team and the energy is just getting crazy. It just shows me how big that jiu-jitsu is getting. And that's how I learn and as far as my professional development is learning, the great coaches like AOJ and all these other big academies are here. Learn how they're, the coaches coach other athletes,
Mm.
how they carry themselves, how the athletes carry themselves during
Yeah.
preparation and stressful moments. So, all this is like a big convention for me.
Mm. Okay. So I wanted to ask you about your style since you talk
Mhm.
about coaching. What your style of coaching, um, there's a couple types of BJJ academies, right? There's the
Right.
more traditional, you
Hmm.
know, certain traditions are still very, very well, and alive. You know, you can't tie your belt in front of a black belt. You got to turn
Mhm.
around, like things like that. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like the super traditional stuff. But
right,
then you have the more modern. You know, more of a culture. It's a vibe. You know, we just like rolling. You know, everybody cool. No uptight traditions. Really kind of. Some of them are kind of weird to me, but we'll get into that another
right, right,
time. But
right, right, right,
you
right,
know, what I mean? It's like
right.
they're not trying to stick to that. And then you have the nogi only. It's just like just a whole different vibe. So,
Right.
are you? Do you have like a traditional type gym, or is it more low key type of vibe? You focus more on the culture.
I focus more on the culture. I think I will fall somewhere in between. Like,
Okay.
I'm not gonna like if somebody coming late, be like you can't come to class, because I
Yeah.
understand people have responsibilities or make somebody turn their back and tie their belt. But I do believe that in the culture of martial arts, especially in our community, that you have to have standards. I require like a white gi,
Yeah.
on black rash guard for uniform purposes.
Hmm.
Also like when you're in the workforce, it trains them on how to be a professional. How to,
Yeah.
not forget this. I tell the kids like tie your belt. I remember one time you
Hmm.
made a great video on tying your belt. I think that was like one of the best videos that you made. Because in that video I was like, the standard is after you've been here for a couple weeks,
Yeah.
that belt is your responsibility, not your parents to tie it, not anybody else.
Hmm.
And so you can go on Bishop's channel and learn how to tie your belt. But by next Monday during class, you need to learn how to tie your belt.
Type belt. Yeah.
So I believe that standards like that are important, and
Mm.
how you work with other people. You gotta understand, like a lot of these kids that we work with were born during COVID, so they don't know how to
Yeah.
interact with other kids.
Mm.
And
That's a great point.
some of them are like the only child. Where the
Mm.
parents think my child is the greatest, and they don't know how
Mm.
to work with other kids.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
respect it. So respect for your professors,
Yeah.
your coaches, and your teammates is very important. We line up and bowed before the warm ups.
Hmm.
So some of those traditions that we still carry, but the no-gi, when we do no-gi, it's a little bit more lax.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially I make it a little bit more nasty. It's not as formal, but when you put that gi on, for me, it's more like martial, which is military like combat.
Hmm.
So it's gonna be a higher standard.
No, absolutely. Dope, dope, dope. Nah, I definitely understand and respect that. I'm the same way. I do like a lot of the old school traditions, but some of them, like I said, are kind of weird, man. You can
Right,
tie your
right,
belt in front of me, dog. I don't care.
right, right, right,
It ain't
right.
that deep. But you bring up something with the belt.
Hmm.
Did, Bruh, I think it's like at almost 5 million views. I didn't know that many people did not know how to tie their belts, dog. That's crazy. I've had people tell me they've watched that video 100 times and they still can't tie their damn belt. I'm like,
Right,
that's sad. Because
right,
what I made everybody learn how to tie their belts. Like, I don't care
right,
if you was 8 or
right,
80, you tying
right,
that belt right. So
right.
before class, every single class, I'll just watch them. And they hated it. They're like, oh, God, he's watching. So because they know they got to get it right. So I'm looking at
Right,
them and they turn around. They're getting groups together, huddle. It's the funniest thing watching four adults trying to figure out how to tie
right,
a belt together. It's like, bro, it's not
right.
that deep. So I thought it was funny that you said that. But
Yeah.
yeah, those traditions are dope. And you definitely got to keep that.
And if I can't teach you how to tie a belt, how am I gonna teach you jujitsu? And jujitsu is very detailed. It's very
Yeah.
attention to detail. So if you don't pay attention, I believe how you do anything is how you do everything.
How
And
you
that's like
do
my
anything is
that's
how
like
you do everything.
yeah. So if you
Okay.
don't tie your belt correctly, make sure it's neat.
That's true.
You're not gonna pay attention to the details and instruction I'm trying to teach you.
That is true. That is very true. Great point. Let me ask you this though. Do you focus on strictly, not strictly, but more so on sports jiu-jitsu or self-defense is part of your curriculum?
I do both.
Okay.
I do both. especially for the kids. I just don't want them knowing sports jiu-jitsu. I want them to be able to use it in real life situations that they need to be and how to defend themselves. So, I try to make it a point that, I incorporate both into their training, you
Hmm.
know. So yeah, I do both, a lot of both.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic you just brought up. Just kids in jiu-jitsu nowadays. I'm starting to see a lot heavier, um, not more competition, but more child superstars,
Hmm.
right? And they all
Hmm.
over the gram and they doing all this craziness, and I love it. It's a beautiful thing, but like you said, I think as a child, the self-defense part should be highlighted a little bit more. That's just my
Hmm.
personal opinion, my humble
Hmm.
opinion.
Hmm.
Because if between 5 and 10 years old, you should be learning to be able to defend yourself a
Hmm.
lot more, and what that confidence is gonna do. Because I've
Hmm.
seen it with my girls. Them girls are super confident, and part of it is because I'm always training with them. Like I got them with me.
Right.
So the sports at that age is fun if your kid
Right.
likes to compete.
Right.
I don't think you should force your kid to compete.
Nah.
It has to be something they enjoy and want to do.
Exactly.
And if
Exactly.
they do that, then cool. And if they're good at it, even better. Support
Hmm.
that. That's dope. If they're
Hmm.
enjoying it and they're good at it, man,
Hmm.
I will go broke supporting that for my kids. You know
Right.
what I mean? But
Right.
that self defense part is very, very important. So I'm glad that you incorporate that into the way you teach as well, which is super, super dope.
Yeah,
So
the community that I'm in, they have to learn how to fight. Like, and I was surprised at how many kids actually get into fights. Like, and that's very rewarding as well because you got these kids that come in, that get bullied, and their parents be like, "Man, you see what my kid did? My kid did this and did that technique and
mm.
took him to the ground and rear neck and choked him like you showed him to." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that's cool," but I was like, don't be now picking fights and be a bully
No,
now.
no, 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 no.
So but you got to be careful with that too because parents get excited that the kids get from getting bullied. Now they can defend themselves. Now, they looking for stuff, and I'd be like, don't try to be that person. You got to be just careful with that. Jiu-jitsu is a superpower,
Hmm.
and I will hope that my students and parents will use it for good reason.
Yeah, yeah, that has to be part of your curriculum and part of your the way you teach, right? It's part of we want to kill the ego and build the person, right? So that's not gonna help. Yeah, we I first thing I tell my young kids, um, you have to understand when we're here, we're training, we're doing it in a safe space, we're learning to defend ourselves. Yes, we're learning to keep people from doing things that we don't want them to do to us, but you don't go and do it outside unless you absolutely have to defend yourself. So yeah, we gotta make sure them kids know that, or they could be out there looking for trouble, man, which ain't good.
Right.
Defeats the whole purpose. But let me see. I wanted to ask you a couple more things, man, before you get up out of here. Um, just I know you competing a lot and you're training and your school is growing. Um, what can I do or anybody else, just what do you think could help us as a community just grow in this and be part of this BJJ community and be able to contribute and find rewarding things that come out of it for us as well.
I think platforms like this get us on platforms like this and letting people know that we exist in the community. We're doing great work. Eventually, I know you open up your gym as well. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Just doing seminars together, bringing each other in for seminars.
Yeah, yeah.
And show outside of jiu-jitsu. And just forming together. To grow the community. Like I'm a big believer is the more people like us and you that are doing jujitsu, the better it is for all of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
'Cause, so I think just networking, just outside, just brainstorming, getting just group calls, group chats, and just brainstorming like business ideas.
Yeah.
Um, to grow jiu-jitsu and how we can better impact and spread the word, especially in our communities about jiu-jitsu. So I believe
Man,
that's the
I'm
believe we're
so
on the
glad you
right
said all
track.
that. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said all that because that's exactly what I was thinking too. That's like part of my
Mm-hmm.
master plan,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm trying to bring us all together, man. Form like Voltron, man, and just do it on a big scale, man. Because
Right.
we got the talent, we got
Right.
the great instructors, the great black belts such as yourself out
Right.
here teaching it in their community, giving back,
Right.
right? So the only way we gonna get farther is together. You know what I mean? So again, like I said, my goal was to bring you see, who the first folks I reached out to
Right.
to
Right.
to chop it up with is
Right.
is us. You know what I mean?
And,
That
and,
that
and
was
like
not.
you And
Yeah, go ahead.
you said, where's my academy now? Where's my academy now? And like right now, I'm just doing jujitsu, but we have a lot of talent, like Nate, like Doug. If of course if I got
Clint.
somebody that's in the MMA,
Mm-hmm.
those gonna be the first people I reach out to.
Yeah.
You know, be like, well, this is what you should go to for this and bond together and create. Because I know I can't do everything on our own.
Right.
If I need somebody, social media and stuff like that, that's my guy. So I believe
Mm-hmm.
all of us have our talents, and it's
Yeah.
okay. You like, I
Mm-hmm.
stay in my lane. So all of us have our talents, and we can shine in our talents.
That's
And
it.
I think that's how all of us grow.
That's it. Just gotta support each other, man. Like, and that the great idea I also thought about too was them seminars, man. We
Yeah.
we we gotta hold our own seminars and do that. But I got your number, bro. Like, trust me,
Okay.
we gonna make this happen. That's my
Let's do it.
goal. We
Let's
gonna
do it.
make this happen, and we gonna keep shining, man. So
Hmm.
we got a few more minutes. Just I want to ask you, man. Going off, piggybacking off of what we just talked about. 10 years from now, right?
Hmm.
If we do the things we talking about, we gonna do, and we support each other the way we say we're gonna support each other, man.
Right.
10 years from now, what do you see that the BJJ community in Atlanta? What's that gonna look like?
In our community specific,
Just in
in
general, like,
general,
yeah.
man, you already seen it. Like jiu-jitsu is in Atlanta is a major force.
Mm-hmm.
We got some heavy hitters here. Bruno, Sean Applegate. I think it's gonna be like Cali here. I think it's gonna be like here in Cali. Like the culture is just gonna be like we're gonna be a place where people gonna want to travel to and come. Like if you want elite jiu-jitsu, you need to
Mm-hmm.
go see these guys in Atlanta, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody's gonna have their market and their niche.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, that's dope, man. No, that's dope. Hell yeah, man. Man, listen, I'm again, man. Congratulations on all your success. With the academy, competitions, getting your black belt, just doing your thing in the community and supporting your people, man. Appreciate you for that, and just keep grinding, man. If you need anything from me, you already know how to reach me, bro.
All right, thank you, man. Thank you for giving me this platform. To share who I am. I think a lot of people don't really know who
Yeah,
I am on my background. And I
yeah.
think they just like this blue belt open up an academy, and he's doing well. But I wanted them, and glad you gave me the opportunity to see where I came from and
Hmm.
how I developed this academy. And if it's something that anybody else aspire to do, just go out and do it. Take action.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Keep inspiring people, man. I'm one of them, so appreciate you.
Let's go.
All right, bro.
Os.
Os.